Okay, so anyway, I just heated up my frying pan with water in it, oil. This is what Tisha and I made, and I had yesterday, Tisha made the macaroni with the ham. Oh my God. She made it for Amari, right? And Alea May, but mostly for Amari. She warmed up. And Andre, right? Anyway, there was just a little bit left over, right? And I had the rest. Oh my God, it was so good, people. This one is obviously I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's pork or ham, either or. This is so good. Okay, so because it's still kind of frozen, I only had it out for a little while. You just put it in a pan, right? You heat up your pan. This is a piece of ham. So, with sliced ginger. Still kind of frozen. But that's okay, because as you fry it, you want your macaroni to get crispy. That's where it tastes really good. Right? So you can see how nicely it breaks up. And then this way you can fry it to how you want it. Right? I want my macaroni just slightly a little crispy. And that's where it starts to taste really good. Now in this situation, I just used, what is it called? I just used the avocado oil, right? But I really like this one. This one is pure sunflower oil. I like this one. I don't think I'm going to need it, but yeah. So hold on. Like, look how good that looks. It's so tasty. Okay, so now it's next day. Oh, I don't know, maybe 6:30 in the morning. So December 12th, 2019. You see that chair? That thing, people, was in my yard for years. Years and years and years and years and years. It was up by Andre's shed, up in the back. And everybody kept telling me, throw it out, throw it out. And I'm like, no. Must have got it when Andre was a baby or something. Because I had this forever. Okay? Anyway, I washed it, checked it over. It's in good shape. The only thing it needs is a strap and seating. So I have an old mat that I rescued from the garage. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to give myself a little more to work with, just in case. I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to fit it into there, see how it goes. Then I'm going to finish the end. And then I'm going to put some straps, right, on it. And that's going to be Amari's chair. Because, hold on a minute. That's what grandmas do. Right? The people that, like the physiotherapist and those kind of people, right? They want to, quote unquote, fundraise for equipment. Because the government apparently only allows X amount of dollars. I don't know if it's once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years, in terms of how much money children like Amari are allowed for their, I guess, 18 years, while they're in that fiscal budget. Right? So they want to fundraise for a chair that, honestly, I don't think is worth $4,000. Right? That's, you'll see. What I'm making will be perfectly fine. And it didn't cost me anything except some time. Because I don't even know where this cushion came from. I just know it's been around forever. Right? And that chair was probably something Sierra dragged home at one point in the past. Like 9 years ago. Right? Because what, Andre's what, 9? I can't justify fundraising for a quote-unquote medical chair for Amari so that he can sit up more comfortably. Basically, that's all it's for. Because it's supposed to be specially designed with the foam that they use. Right? I don't know. I don't know how to cut this now. This is where you just have to do the best you can. And then there's this stand that, what do you call it? You can put him in and he can stand there for 10 minutes. Right? Scissors. I never use, people. Ooh, I don't want to break that. Isn't that pretty? Antique. My mother used to do that. I want to put this one up here with a picture that my children made with shelves and stuff. I just have to climb up there and hammer it in. I'm not sure if I should use scissors. Look at that. Nice. Look at my scissors, people. Or maybe a blade. So anyway, this little stand-up thing is like $7,000 or something. And there's not enough money in Amari's pot, which is separated into 2 different pots of cash that these workers can draw on so that they can give me this equipment. And I don't even necessarily want it, people. Right? Well, the blade's working good. I don't even necessarily want it. Cut the fabric good. Right? Never mind them fundraising for it yet. Like, to me, it's humiliating. I live in Canada, people. Amari is clearly a disabled child. There's no reason to be fundraising for equipment for him. Absolutely none. If they can give Joan a $10,000 motorized wheelchair that was above what you normally see out in the streets. Like this thing was a little mini car. Okay? I'm sure they can give Amari this stand-up thing so he can stand in it 10 minutes a day. And I asked them, well, what is the purpose of this? And it pretty much boils down to socialization. Amari is well socialized, people. Very well socialized. He's a pretty content child. Right? So anyway, if this works, I save the provincial government of British Columbia, Canada, $4,000. Okay, this is not, now you see it cut the fabric, but it's not cutting the foam. It's not foam. It is batting. It's called batting. losing my balance here. It's my feet. My feet are sore. I don't know what scissors I want. Try these ones. No. So, I have to do this because I've been wanting to do this for a long time, kind of like those diapers, right? I'm not going to put this batting away, telling myself I'm going to do it next week, to bring the batting back out, to have it sit on my sewing table with the rest of this stuff for another 2 weeks, to start the process all over again. Because Amari needs this chair now. I've had this chair in my living room now for a few weeks. So, he might be getting a new chair today. I have straps. Where are they? There we go. There's some of them. Right. Two anyway. I have more. Just have to find them. And then if I get this off my table, I can get into my paperwork. A little bit of it anyway. Right. Yeah, this is working. So hold on. I will show you. It's hard to talk and concentrate on cutting with scissors at the same time. Be careful I don't cut my paper in here. Oh, can you hear how good those scissors are, man? Nice scissors. I like them a little bigger than this, though. Those ones I already ruined. Okay. So now, what we do, we take this piece, you see, and I'm going to put it in the chair, I'm going to fold it in there, and then what I'm going to end up doing is cutting out, you pull this back, right, and you cut out anywhere between 1.5 to 3 inches straight down, right, after you fit it into the chair. And then you take this fabric and you bring it and you fold it over and then you do and you pin and then you're good to go. So that's what I'm going to do. Hold on. Okay. Change of plans. I am finding that if you're wondering, this salt rock was in Shimei's room, right upstairs, the room that the kids are in now. Anyway, I brought it out, right, because I'm doing paperwork in there on the desk, and I just needed a bit more room. This thing is like really, really heavy. I just put it in the middle of this chair because one, it's so heavy, and it gives it the weight into pushing the foam, the batting, into the cup of the chair, right? Imagining it's Amari's body. So here it's pretty much flush. Anything that's curling out here, I would just take it and pin it where it conforms. Do you see? You can actually, because children with cerebral palsy can't necessarily hold their heads up, so they need a little support sometimes. Amari's pretty good with his head, so, you know, I can adjust it in terms of how much support I want to give him if any. I can either bring it right back with elastic running from one end to the other that cups underneath through here, right? Or I can somehow get it where it's more curled. You can see that, more hugging. So we can adjust the sides. That's easy enough to do. This is where it gets a little complicated. This is obviously too much. So you take the scissors, in this case, I would think, and you take at least half off, right? On both sides equally. I don't know about the bottom, but at least to the corner of it. And then obviously you're going to have to piece in something a little bit in here, but it only needs to be, doesn't need to be that much. It only needs to be that much going down, right? So that when the legs are resting on it, it's soft. It's not on something hard. And then this would be your seam where you would attach the two places. So I have a choice. I can continue. Those are rain rings. You know what rain rings are? Anyway, I can continue to use the same fabric and use this foam. I can take where it's already somewhat made, this whole piece in here, honestly, because you see the seams are already done for you, right? Cut it off in here and then build in the piece right up into here. And as long as you don't go no more than an inch and a half, this will be good for him for several years, right? And then in terms of, like, you know, you can always, after the fact, just throw over a very light cloth over it if you were worried about it getting dirty. But this would be washable anyway. So hold on. Okay. So now I'm in here kind of cutting it, and as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, right, people? I'm thinking that my government has set me up to fail. Because even if I do this, people, and I save them $4,000, as they're still telling me they have to fundraise for other equipment that I don't necessarily want, right? But yet they won't help me with, I don't want to say subsidized housing, because I am not moving my family into a cockroach-infested, freaking antisocial, probably violent fucking situation simply because it's low income with a lot of depressed people that have mental health issues, because I've already done it, people, right? And those buildings, they're old, and if they're not old, they're not maintained, right? And they're rampant with bed bugs, fucking cockroaches and mice, right? You know, that's not what I mean by subsidized housing. What I mean is my government has made it where it's not even affordable for me to move into another house, people, right? And they did that in a very short period of time through the laundering of money via into the housing market, which is completely outsourced the residents of this province below a certain income. So no matter what's going to happen in the end, sooner or later, people, I'm going to have to leave this house if I'm going to keep Amari, because he's going to grow. And I'm going to need the space with the proper amenities, right? To be able to, you know, move him. I mean, I can still carry him around right now, people. What's going to happen in a few more years when I can't carry him? Yes, my son will be around to help me carry, but at the end of the day, right? I'm going to have to move, but my government has basically made it where I'm going to lose my grandson in the end because I'm not going to be able to find anything affordable, people. To accommodate my grandson's special needs. But yet, if they take him away from me because I can't do that and give him to somebody in, for foster care, the foster care parent will get $3,000 a month and any perks that come with that. As the rest of the place wherever they're living is subsidized from a different ledger. Right? And we know what happens to children when they get into foster care. They become guinea pigs to the doctors. To the doctors. The very doctors that injure us. So I'll show you. Okay, do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see how I'm cutting it in? It still needs a bit more in here. Right? Just a bit. I haven't done this side yet. Right? I don't know what I did with the foam. I already tossed it off someplace. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Anyway, I cut it out. I'm going to still cut a bit more. Right? I'm going to leave, the majority of this part here because that's the bottom, right? But I'm going to take off just a bit more in here for growth, right? And then after I take this out, I can plane it. Instead of going, right? You just plane it where it's just kind of like smooth, right? You know what I mean? Hold on. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I cut it. You can see I kind of somewhat guesstimated for the bottom part, right? Fold it over the fabric. Now I'm going to get in here and I'm going to take half off of everything because I don't need this much batting, right? And then, but before I do that, I'm going to find a piece of fabric and put it underneath this so when I cut, the fine fibers don't get all over my papers. Hold on. So I just want to show you this. I don't know if I can do it with hold on. Watching? Look at that. Voila. Huh? Voila. So, now that you have two, you've got something for later. And then you take this piece back and you fold it back in, but you're going to have extra fabric now. So you may have to piece in some from the back and then stitch it. Hold on. Okay, so this is where you don't get discouraged. I'm like, you don't want to do this. It's getting complicated. Right? But when you're done, even if it's not perfect, it's like those drum bags, people. It works. So I've decided, instead of putting this in the inside of this and then trying to piece it in, I've decided to use just half of what was available. So in this case, technically, you should fold it in half. Right? I don't have a pen, but here's the halfway mark, and then you line it up halfway through, right? The centerpiece. And then I'm debating whether I should, I don't think I need it on the lip of this, but anyway, I'm not gonna, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hold it here, because it's approximate, right? Oops. See, this is where I need to maybe tape it. Alright. Anyway. Because there's going to be, you're going to be cutting off from the sides anyway. And then we need to make this go down that centerpiece. We have to take out a little bit. All right. And that would go about here. Let me go get a pen. Hold on. It doesn't have to be fancy-dancy, right? I already snipped the fabric in the wrong spot up on here, so I'm going to have to, and of course everything's dark for me, right, people? So I'm going to have to, what is it called? Repair that so it doesn't fray, because this fabric is nice fabric, but it frays, which means I'm going to have to use my sewing machine more than likely for the finishing seams as to what I'm doing here. So I'll have to clear off that, right, as if I got time, right, people? As if I got time. Hold on, I just want to show you. So this is kind of like being a fish that can never get up the stream. Because no matter what I do, no matter what kind of foods I cook for Amari, you know, no matter what I do in a day, no matter what I do, people, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to afford any housing when it comes time to having to move from this place to accommodate his growing needs. So as far as I'm concerned, my government is setting me up to fail. So, you can see what I've done. Where am I? Do you see? So now we put that there, and then that folds up in there. Right? And then you would just tack in another piece or something. So here, now what's going to happen is I'm going to start piecing it together, and then I'm going to hand stitch it with just a base to kind of hold it together, right? But I think I'm going to have to get some tape, just temporary, any kind of tape, right? And tape before I decide what I'm going to do. I couldn't find the gray tape or my tape, so I got some painting tape here, but it's not really working. So anyway, to keep it simple on yourself, when you cut out the first side, right, do you see? Okay? That would go, I don't know if you can see this. Where am I? Yeah. See, that would fit in there like that. What you do is you take this and you just reverse it to the other side. Right? And you cut so that it's equal. Right? As long as it's equal, then it will be easier to work with. Hold on. Okay. So that's basically what you're looking at right now. Okay. So what I'm doing now is, it's been so long since I sewed, people, I can't even find elastic. Anyway, I did manage to find one little piece. I would prefer the thicker, right? But for now, what I'm doing is I'm just tacking this on from this part, just holding this part down, right? Oh, you can't see, can you? I don't know if you can see or not. I can't see. I can't see. Where am I? This camera gets a funny look to it. There we go. Okay. So I took elastic and I took it from the two corners right here, right? And now I'm taking it from here and I'm going to strap this on, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up taking off this salt rock, right? And then slivering off, planing it, remember? Planing it off just a little bit so that it's more conformed with the actual seat itself. and it will be more comfortable, right? I don't know. I don't know what I did with the pin. I have to find it. Here it is. And you see, you take it. Right. I can't see that far with these glasses. I don't know. I'm assuming you can see this. And then you pull it behind and you make it tight. Right? For this purpose anyway. Because as soon as you take off that salt rock, this is going to bounce off. The only thing that's holding this thing in place right now is the salt rock. Right? Because I'm going to have to stitch. It's called basting by hand. The two pieces together. Right? These two pieces that meet in the middle, I'm going to have to baste it. And maybe even put a small padding over top of it. So you'd piece them together, baste it, and then for the seating part, you'd cut off something small. Maybe, you know what would be good? What is it called? Like a vinyl. Like a vinyl, right? So that if he's in his chair or something and he spills something, you know, maybe some kind of something just so that that's defines the seating area. And then as he sits in it over time, it's going to conform to his body, right? This thing is so heavy. Oh my God. Tisha asked me if she could have it. I said, no, not yet. I just don't know where I'm going to put it yet. Okay. So, now that I've done that, I'm going to show you in here what's happened. Hold on, I can't rush. And that's the thing. I'm feeling guilty for doing this, people. I should be doing other things. I don't know what those other things are. I just know I should be doing other things. So do you see how there's too much padding in here? Right? I started coming in, but the salt rock was in the way. So I'm going to continue to snip this down a bit and make it more uniform, more plain. Same thing within here. And then you're going to see how you're going to establish more of a bottom. And then just to secure that bottom, you just add in another piece of something over it. And I may very well make it out of vinyl. Hold on. Okay, so you can see where I've kind of got it, right? And I took more out in there. I still may take out more, but before I do that, I am going to baste these together with using that double thread. Hold on. Okay, so I've done the top part, right, basically. So now I'm just moving it like this off this, right? I don't want to take the whole thing off. So I'm now going to do it from the underneath as well, right? Only I'm having a hard time seeing, but you get the point. Hold on. Okay, so I made a mistake. It's been so long since I've done this stuff, people. I forgot to leave that piece in there when I cut to fit this piece in. But, you know, don't let a mistake deter you from doing what you need to do. So, ideally, you want this to go as far back into the seat as possible, right? And by doing that, it brings everything up in here really nice, you can see. Except for, I made the mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some more foam, 1/2 inch or whatever it is, and I'm just going to baste in that piece so that once it's in there, it holds this part in place, right? And don't forget, we're going to be putting a base on this yet to cover up anything that I'm doing in here in terms of stitching or whatever, right? Hold on. Okay, so do you see what's happening here? I've been shading it like a sheep, right? You sculpt it in, plane it in. Here you can see there's a bit of a ridge here. Do you see the bit of a ridge? I can smooth that in, right? Push it into the corner, flatten it out. I'm going to end up taking that salt rock and letting it sit there for a few hours, and it will press everything down. Here, this side's okay, right? You can see I took off some in here, right? But here it needs a bit more, do you see? Or at least, yeah, so you just trim it a bit so it's more flush, right? It's not that bad. I've already taken, right? So it's actually not that bad. Hold on. Okay, so basically, before I go too far, do you see this? Because it was out in the garage, and I did spray it down, and I did wash it in the bathtub, but I'm going to take this fabric now before I finish the job, right? And I'm going to stick this in the sink with nice hot soapy water with just a tad bit of bleach, right? Just to freshen it up a bit before I continue working on what I'm working on in here. You can see, right? Here it's a little high, so you can still trim it down just a little bit. You can see, right? And then I put that in there just to push it in there tight, right? And then what's going to end up happening is, as that's being washed and dried, I'm not going to be able to work on this for the rest of the day because I'll be hang drying this, right? I am going to look for other fabric that I can make a base, a padding, right? That can go over this, because now there's a seam in there, right? You'll see, and what will happen is it will go over this, and it will give it the base that it needs. And I'm thinking to maybe even bring it up a little bit, and then flattening this out, right? So that it's nice. Yeah, you'll see. The only other thing I'm going to do here, do you remember these? All right. I won't open this one right now. Those are those stamps in there, people. I haven't had time. I dug out all my other stamps. I sent those stamps to Brazil. It cost me $110 to send stuff out to Brazil. It was pathetic. But whatever, it got out there, and it had a whole bunch of these ones. This is a Chinese calligraphy set. I haven't opened it. It's been a while. Right? A few months. A few months, people. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, look at that, people. Look at that. What do you think? Huh? Andre's walnut art. This is for when we do Andre's walnut art. How do you open this? Hold on a minute. How does this work? Oh, it has little hooky things. See? Little hooky things. And it should just open up. This is pretty cool. I don't know. Look at the brushes. Brushes. Japanese. I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese. I can't remember. Doesn't seem to come with any directions. I don't know what this is. This is a soapstone of some kind. I don't know what that's for. And this is, I guess, where you mix your ink. And because I have black walnut powder, I can make it my own. I don't know what's in here. Hold on. I'm going to upload this, people. I'm very not feeling that great. Oh, look at that. That's something. That is something. Do you see that? What is that? Where am I? Oh, what is that? Something. I don't see no directions though. Unless they're on the inside. But anyway. Oh wait, now you can take it out.
This?
Yeah. Let's see what the stamps that we got sent to us. Alright?
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of stamps for stamp collecting.
Oh!
Okay,
Oh.
okay, well let's be careful with the envelope. We don't have to trash the envelope. Here, hold this.
That's a lot of stamps.
It is. Hold on. Oh, just hold on a minute. Let's see, we'll just take a quick boo. Look at that.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Hmm?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of stamps in there.
What are we going to do with them all?
Well, we're going to sort them out, and you can put them into books. Looks like these ones are all Canada. Mostly. Maybe not. I can't see right now very much. But, right? Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to turn it off?
Yep.